So, Preston, we are back to talk about the latest episode of The Mandalorian, Episode 5, Gunslinger. And off the bat, we start out with a nice dogfight, or the Mando being pursued by another bounty hunter. And I gotta say, the one thing I noticed is that this guy shoots the Mandalorian ships like 1,000 times, doesn't kill him, but the Mandalorian shoots him once. You could argue that his laser fire is like toned down a little, just to disable the ship, but... no, cool. We had a nice little dogfight at the beginning of the episode, and I thought everything was going to be awesome and epic, and then we just go downhill from here.
Whoa! Oh, okay. I don't know. My feelings on this episode are all mixed. I feel like they were throwing all of these familiar things around where the whole episode you're just sitting there wondering, is Boba Fett going to be in it? Is Boba Fett going to come?
Right.
Is Boba Fett going to come? And then almost to tease us, almost just to like make us angry, it's like, no, we're going to get as close as possible to Boba Fett without Boba Fett being in the episode. But yeah, the dogfight in the beginning, I don't know. I could take it or leave it. The only thing was I just kept going, oh, it's like all of the targeting from A New Hope. Mm-hmm. That's it's one of those. We're gonna make every throw you things that you recognize kind of stuff.
And here's the thing, though. Before we get into it, the opening dogfight. Something felt off about it to me, but that's because I think I don't think they used CGI for the ship-to-ship combat. I think they used the actual model and then just did everything else in editing and processing. Like, it looked a little weird, it looked a little wonky and chunky, but it's fine. I didn't have a problem with it too much, but that was the only original thing in the episode. So, of course, the Mandalorian ship gets not destroyed, but disabled or severely damaged, so he has to land in the nearest planet, which just happens to be Tatooine.
Right.
And then he lands down, and Amy Sedaris' character comes in, and she offers to repair it, but he won't let the pit droids repair the ship.
Now, what did you think of Amy Sedaris' character?
Best character in this episode. I mean, I cared about her character way more than I did the other characters, but...
Amy Sedaris, for those that don't know, is a comedian who she does a lot of work with Stephen Colbert, or did back in the day. I think they were in the same improv troupe and stuff. And she had a show called Strangers with Candy on.
Wasn't it also a movie?
Central.
I swear it was also a movie.
It was a movie as well. It was a show and then a movie called Strangers with Candy, which starred Stephen Colbert and this other guy who I can't remember the name of.
Mm-hmm.
And she then went on to, I think her most famous role is from The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She's kind of this pathetic, manic older woman who is just nuts. And that's kind of the characters. She has a lot of different characters, but that's the kind of her go-to. Mm-hmm. I'm incredibly worried kind of character, and she's more experience in stage, so she's kind of goes overboard with everything, and that's kind of her humor. But here she toned it back quite a bit, and it's still pretty loud. It's still Amy Sedaris, but it's so toned back compared to like some of her characters,
which is good.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting her, like when she showed up, I was like, oh no, is this gonna fit? No, it was fine. I thought she did fine.
Mm-hmm. So he lands at a Mos Eisley repair dock, and in order to fix his ship, he has to go seek work, so he goes to a local cantina. Now, I don't know if this is the cantina that Han Solo and Luke met in, or just any random cantina, because Mos Eisley...
But it looks exactly the same.
Bro, really? Because I don't think it is the same. It looks it, but I don't think it is the same, because...
Well, the droid...
Right, the droid there. Maybe the guy died, and like as kind of like a, haha, the droid inherits it, but... I want to think that Mos Eisley has more than one cantina.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, you're obviously supposed to think of the Mos Eisley cantina mm-hmm. from the original Star Wars. Just in the sense that the gunslinger is sitting in Han Solo's seat, and it looks exactly like Han Solo's seat, and the bar looks exactly the same.
Right.
Though instead of a bartender, they've given a 99 unit. What's the name? What's the name of that droid?
I have no idea. I wasn't even paying attention to what the fucking. It's all I knew was the droid.
It's the same droid that talks. So when Jabba had one, but when there was like I think it's IG-99, maybe it's something 99. I don't know, but whatever the case, it's one of those units.
Well, here's the thing. The roles are reversed now. In New Hope, it was Han Solo sitting there, and he was the guy who was, experienced, and Luke was coming in as a fresh-faced kid. The roles are reversed. This guy is sitting there as a fresh-faced kid. The Mando is the experienced guy. So he comes in, and, his name is Toru... fucking forgot. Toru Calican. And Toru Calican is a new guy. He wants to join the guild, but in order to join the guild, he needs to complete a job first, which I like. I like, that they're adding, certain elements to the guild that we didn't know before. Not any, douche can come off the street and join the guild. You kind of have to prove yourself first. And you don't have to prove yourself doing something crazy. Just a normal, bounty would suffice. And they join together. Now, this is where it starts to get a little... So they get on the speeder bikes. Which I like that. Nice touch. The whole thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
I remember Shadows of the Empire video game where they're also on Mos Eisley with the speeder bikes and all that stuff.
Oh, by the way, this is a question I have. I always think this is funny when you see like military guys and like police going in. Does the whole world think that a fist raised up means stop? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
So the Mando does it twice. He like raises his fist, and the other guy kind of knows to like immediately stop. And they always show it in these like when like a group of police are raiding a building. They're like coming in and they hold up a fist, and everyone like knows to stop or something like. When is that taught to people? I don't know if like the movies are just making that up. Like. Is that really a signal?
I have no idea.
Fist raised in the air is to stop? But whatever the case, it seems to be in the Star Wars universe as well that a fist in the air means to stop.
I love you, man. You always notice this crap. I love you, man.
Oh, it's just one of those things that like, they like point at their eyes and then they like do some like movement with their hands and the other person knows like, oh, go around back, of course.
So they're scouting out the area and they notice Tusken Raiders and instead of the Tusken Raiders doing that thing they did to Luke in New Hope, Tusken Raiders, they just turn around. Oh, they're there. Give them your binoculars so we can get safe passage. Oh, okay. It's just that easy. I like that. It's just that easy. We don't need a pointless fight with the Tusken Raiders. So they go.
But it's also it's very interesting to reinterpret the Tusken Raiders because in A New Hope, Tusken Raiders are just these savages out in the desert, and then I would say that by the time Attack of the Clones came around, there's kind of recognition that no Tusken Raiders are I don't know if human beings. I'm not sure what's under those masks, but they're to be sympathized with, and as Anakin slaughters all of these Tusken Raiders, and you're like, oh my gosh, he killed all of the children and stuff. Like, you're supposed to think that's a bad thing. And here's like the first time where you're like, actually, maybe, Tusken Raiders think they're the locals. And you're like, oh, geez, like maybe this was their planet, and everyone's just been going to Tatooine and moisture farming or whatever they're doing. I don't know.
So they get safe passage, and they see a bounty hunter who tried going after the assassin, Fennec Shand. That's the mark they're going after. And she took out...
Ming-Na's character.
Right, and she took out this guy and kind of set a trap for them. Now, luckily, our Mando has the Beskar armor, because at a shot that far away, he's not going to get fucked up. Now, apparently, Beskar armor is good. Excuse me. Beskar armor is good. It can deflect blaster bolts, and depending on the type of gun, can deflect them fairly nicely, but it's not indestructible. I like that as well. And they devise a plan to get her, despite the fact that she has the high ground. Now, I could hear the memes a mile away with the high ground. Have you heard about the high ground memes?
Yeah, yes, of course.
So they get the jump on her, and she takes out one of their speeder bikes before she's captured. Now, I like how the Mando goes, hey, I saw some dewbacks a while ago. you're gonna have to go and grab him. The guy's like, no. How do I know you're just not gonna leave me here?
Oh, is that it? She took one of, because my wife comes in near the end when I'm watching, and she's like, "Can you wait? What happened?" And I said, "Well, and I get to the point where I'm like, they ride 2 speeder bikes out to get her, and then they realize that they can't carry her, so they need to go get a dewback." And she's like, "Wait, but they only brought 2 speeder bikes to begin with. Wasn't this going to be a problem?" And I was like, "Oh,
no." Did
she really destroy one of their speeder bikes?
Yes, I believe she destroys one of their speeder bikes while they're trying to get the jump on her.
But didn't they go by foot?
No, they had to. They drive towards her, and they use that flash thing to stop her from sniping them out. And he fucks up, and he he doesn't send the flash towards her, but to the side. And because of that, she shoots the Mando's speeder bike.
Oh, okay. But he's still able to make it up there and take and
right,
stop her.
Right, and
okay.
So they have.
I guess that makes sense. So if a speeder bike can carry 2, then it makes more sense that they seemed fine bringing only 2 speeder bikes out to capture a person.
Well, yeah, of course the speeder bike can take 2. Remember in Return of the Jedi, Luke and Leia when they were after that scout trooper guy.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm assuming 2 was the max occupancy.
I mean, it's so funny because you travel to other countries and you'll see somebody with a scooter, a little moped, and they'll have the entire family on. It'll be 7 people, and you're just like, how? And so really, it's come on, you couldn't put 3 people on a speeder. If a speeder bike kicks 2, you couldn't pop 3 on. I mean,
so
because I've seen. I don't know.
So I'm surprised the Mando didn't just shoot this fucking kid and just go, because the guy's the Mando tells the guy go grab a dewback, and he goes, "No, you go do it." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." So Mando goes and grabs the dew, and while he's gone, I'm just surprised he didn't shoot the kid. You're new here, you're
I know,
whatever.
Know. But I will say that once he's gone was the most intriguing part of the entire episode for me, because it's such a trope. It's such a trope that the person is going to manipulate the stupid one into unlocking her handcuffs, and then she's just going to kill him, and you're just like, oh god, this is going to come. And so when she manipulates him and he's like, okay, cool, and then kills her, I was like, oh man, that was. Thank you for doing
nice fake out.
Something. Yeah, it was a good fake out.
So Fennec Shan apparently was an assassin for a lot of Imperials, and he takes her out. And I don't understand why. Well, I understand why. It's Star Wars, Disney. Instead of taking her head to prove that she is dead, they.
I guess there was only. I mean, different bounties have dead price, alive price, but I guess he really thought that there was just no dead price for her, which seems unusual. That because they did say she's no use to us unless she's alive.
Right, that's right. I forgot about that. He makes that Boba Fett line. He's no good to us dead.
Yeah.
So he goes back and he tries to take the baby Yoda hostage. The Mando comes in, takes him out, takes his little pouch of gold, which once again, the Mando could have killed 2 birds with 1 stone by killing this kid, taking his little pouch of gold or credits or whatever, and then bringing Fennec Shand in as well. He literally could have done this both, but then he doesn't do that. So he ends up killing the kid anyways, and gives Amy Sedaris' character the money, has his ship fixed, and then flies off. Off the bat, I would say I would give this episode a 6, which for me, a 5 is below average, 6 is average, 7 is above average. I'll give it an average because we've already seen this episode before. It's episode 2, part 2. His ship gets damaged.
Yeah.
His ship gets damaged. He's on a desert planet. His ship needs fixing. He has to do a side quest where he goes up against a powerful foe. And at the end of the day, he meets a new character that helps him get his ship fixed. That's episode 2 right there. Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... But that's the weekly challenge, right? is the weekly challenge is somebody tries to get Yoda, and then he has to he does some sort of side quest that's the distraction. Then somebody tries to get Baby Yoda, and then he has to kill him, and then he has to move on to a new planet, right?
To the fucking YouTuber on Twitter, I forgot your name, but you did some really good Mortal Kombat videos on the history of Mortal Kombat. This fucking guy goes, "Yo, man, this is not a video game. A video game is something you play. This is clearly a show." No, bro, this is a video game. This is a video game plot right here. And the guy who directed this episode is Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is the guy who did Clone Wars and Rebels. In Clone Wars and Rebels, we have, like, the character / problem of the day, and then you move on after the episode.
Oh, by the way, in the comments, a lot of people are calling both of us. They said that, it's very clear Preston and Carmine haven't seen Star Wars Clone
Yes, I
Wars.
have.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I have not. You can call me out. I've never seen Rebels. I've never seen Clone Wars. I've never seen any of the cartoon stuff. But Carmine, I will say, has seen fucking everything under the sun that's Star Wars.
I have.
And he's played nearly all of the video games.
I just finished Fallen Order on Jedi Grandmaster difficulty, mind you. Took me a long fucking time to kill those Night Sisters and those fucking Inquisitors. But no, yes I have. And Dave Filoni does this all the time. And this is one of the reasons why I refuse to watch, like, any CW show or any, like, those shows. Because the fillers, right? They'll have a story, they'll have a 5-hour story and try to fit it into, like, a 21-hour episode format. And there's just so much filler. And this was a filler. You could skip this episode and still not miss anything whatsoever. True?
Well, true. I mean, so far, there's only been 2 episodes that have really been
Fillery?
Useful, right? And not filler, right? The first episode, which kind of establishes that he finds Baby Yoda, and then he has when he gives up Baby Yoda and re-rescues Baby Yoda and alienates the guild, and that's it. There's been 2 episodes that you really have needed to see. Everything so far everything else is side quests.
Yeah, it really is. This is a video game. And once again, Dave Filoni doing this episode makes sense because he does shows where you have to have a certain number of episodes where nothing happens and doesn't move the plot along. And this is exactly that.
Yeah.
It's just episode 2, part 2.
Yeah, and I understand, like, a lot of shows, so there's arc storytelling and then there's episodic storytelling. Mm-hmm. And the advantage of episodic storytelling is that you can enter at any time, watch an episode and enjoy it, and you don't need to know, like, all the previous backstory and everything.
Right.
It's pretty easy to figure out. Like Law and Order. You can just pick up any episode of Law and Order. It'll be entertaining, and you can finish. And you never have to. You can, there's no arc to Law and Order, or a very, very minimal arc to these characters. It's just episodic. But that means you can come in the middle of season 15, episode 10, and be fine. And then there's arc storytelling where if you haven't seen everything, then you're done. Like, there's no way in. And then there's ones that try to mix it up. They do some episodic stuff in case they've got a new watcher, and they do. But then they have an arc to try to get, because people become obsessed. Like, the other thing about arc storytelling is you feel like you need to watch the next one. So you watch an episode of Law and Order, you don't feel like you ever need to see another episode of Law and Order. There's no, like, burning desire, like, what happens next? Mm-hmm. Like, who cares? It's going to be a completely different story. So, they try to mix that up, but I feel like with Mandalorian, people have signed up for Disney Plus specifically to see Mandalorian. Right. Like, they've seen the previous episodes. You don't need to make it episodic. It should all be arc. Like, it
should all be arc because there's 8 episodes. It's not like Supernatural where there's, like, 24 episodes and, only a couple episodes move the story. That's why I won't watch Supernatural. I know that sounds like blasphemy to a lot of people, but I don't want to sit here and watch filler.
Additionally, it's on a streaming service where you can binge it. Like with Supernatural, maybe you just, I don't know what day of the week Supernatural airs, but let's say it's Monday nights and, like, last Monday night I was busy. I couldn't see the last episode of Supernatural. Mm-hmm. Well, at least, I can see this one and catch up. And that's the funny thing is that each one of these Mandalorian episodes begins with a last time on Mandalorian. Nothing happened last time. Like, you don't need to sum it up.
That reminds me.
Also, we've seen the last episode.
Exactly. Not to mention, dude, this is exactly what Game of Thrones does. Like, Game of Thrones, of course, we have to talk about Thrones every now and then. Every fucking podcast is not about Thrones. This was a fight between me and a lot of my subscribers. Carmine, what are you talking about? On the HBO website, it says the episode of Game of Thrones is 58 minutes. No, motherfucker. You don't stop counting, because they're counting the intro, the last time on Game of Thrones, the ending credits, and the behind-the-scenes shit. Right. You take that out, it's probably like just 10 minutes. Like, stop saying that. This episode of The Mandalorian, let me check real quick. I have it right here, right? This episode... The episode ends. The credits are really long. You notice that?
Yeah. They always do the montage with all the pictures.
So the episode ends at 30 minutes and 21 seconds, right? But it doesn't start. Until like a minute and 12 seconds in. So. Yeah. And the whole thing, according to this, is 35 minutes. No, it's not actually. It's actually like, what, 29 minutes, maybe. Like, this is the shortest episode we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like,
plus there was some filler. Like, I did think that they were driving over sand dunes for quite a long time.
That's fine. Like, That's completely fine. Yeah. But here's the thing: in order for me to kind of like, because I didn't care about that Toru guy, the fresh faced kid. I didn't care about him. Yeah. I might have cared about him if these episodes were actually an hour and set things up. Like, when it comes to Star Wars, unless it's an actual cartoon, because I remember loving the original The Clone Wars from 2003. Those were, Preston, those are 5 minutes long.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of those. Yeah.
Those were awesome. In order for me to really feel that this is Star Wars in a galaxy far, far away, I have to be in this whole thing for more than 35 minutes, man. Like,
I mean, I kind of feel they could have lengthened the episode and had, it takes a couple more days to get out to find the bounty hunter. And he has to, like, spend the night, and you get to listen to this boy's backstory of why he wants to become a bounty hunter and, like, what drives him. And then when you get to the point where Mandalorian has to kill him, it's more painful and meaningful because he got to know this kid and then had to kill him. Or he got to know him, and so the betrayal seems a little more stinging. So right now it's like, oh, a stranger betrayed him and he killed a stranger. Well,
who cares?
Yeah, they could have just added a couple more scenes where he chatted with the kid about who he was and everything, right?
Exactly.
Because isn't the story supposed to be like, I mean, what else is there in this except to get to know this kid, right? I mean, he's the gunslinger, right? Aren't we supposed to know who this kid is and his backstory?
Well, is he the gunslinger or is the Mando the gunslinger?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure both.
This is the shortest episode we think we've gotten, and you're right. The only episodes that were super important were episodes 1 and 3. I would argue 4, because I have seen in the trailer that we do see Cara Dune, that woman. We see her again later on, and she has a heavier weapon. Okay. So maybe episode 4 was important, but at the same time, like, I will say, to the show's benefit, it's not bad. Even this episode wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I'm still waiting for that 1-2 knockout punch, and it hasn't given it to me.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
I
mean, maybe I'm spoiled just because like there's so much good TV and I don't know, like, you want to be wowed.
Yes.
Like I read that I should watch Russian Doll, and so I watched Russian Doll.
Ooh.
And I was like, wow. Like,
I've been recommended that a lot.
So good. Oh, it's fucking great. Mm-hmm. It's fucking. I was just like, oh, this is like, you just finish it, and you're like, that's fucking, like, I had to binge it because it was so good. I like watched 6 episodes in a row, and then the next morning I watched the last 2. I was like, oh my God, it was great. Fucking great.
And people have been saying, like, well, Carmine, how can you, and like Watchmen. First of all, let me make it very clear, right? Here's the difference between Mandalorian and Watchmen, right now for me. As soon as an episode of Watchmen comes out, I have to watch it right then and there. As soon as an episode of Mandalorian comes out, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to go see it. Whatever. I can watch it tomorrow, the next day. Probably won't be missing shit. Because if you've noticed, I've been keeping track of this on Twitter. The first couple episodes of Mandalorian, the Mandalorian has been trending a large amount on Twitter. Lately, it has not. In fact, I'm on Twitter right now. Ted Cruz has 16,000 tweets. He probably did some dumb bullshit. Mando and Baby Yoda have
posted on his Twitter.
Mando and Baby Yoda have barely gone past like 10,000 tweets on trending. So it annoys me the most that when these Star Wars YouTubers have been giving it a 10 out of 10, you guys have your fanboy goggles on. Take those the fuck off. Because we know how this works. Yeah. The first couple of hours, the first couple of days, bro, it was the best thing since sliced bread. And then after a while, on second thought, like, come on, guys. Like, how are you giving this a 10 out of 10? It's not bad, but it's not the most amazing thing. And the nostalgia porn, they've been holding back on it.
Oh my God, this episode was all about just like Beggar's Canyon. Oh, we're going to go to the dunes. Oh, like everything.
I'll give them this episode.
Should we talk about the fucking elephant in the room? Like when watching the episode, like the elephant in the room is like, are they going to show Boba Fett? Is this going to be about Boba Fett?
Well, and at the very end, that person randomly walks up to Shan's dead body, and we don't see who they are.
And here the thing is like you're supposed to wonder, is it Boba Fett? It's clearly gonna be like the guy from Breaking Bad or something. Like I don't think it's Boba Fett, but you're supposed to think maybe that's Boba Fett. Like he goes to like someone in Mandalorian armor goes to Tatooine. They talk about the huts. They go out to the sand dunes, like. And then at the end of the episode, some boots are seen, somebody wearing a cape and boots like comes out. And you're like, am I not supposed to be thinking about Boba Fett? Because I'm clearly supposed to be thinking about Boba Fett. Like, but it's not Boba Fett. And so are they just fucking with me? Like, what are they doing?
I love your idea of them. He has to go into the Sarlacc pit and like do a mission and kill a guy who's not dying fast enough because, of course, he sees the armor and no one's in the armor. Like that would be so cool. But of course, oh god. But
I mean, I understand that they don't want to blow their load, and like Boba Fett will eventually be in the show. I guarantee. Like you're not. Everybody's been dying for Boba Fett to come back, which is why he's come back in the expanded universe 45 times.
The old expanded universe. So far, we haven't seen Boba Fett.
The old expanded
universe, the new one.
But you don't hold a card like Boba Fett that you know people are gonna freak out about without playing it. Like why would you not bring Boba Fett back? You're Disney. You're a huge money making corporation, right? And the only thing you're interested in is money. Why would you not bring Boba Fett back?
Because I think they're going to bring back someone else instead. Now, I don't want to say it here. It's a rumor I heard. Do you mind if I message it to you on Facebook?
Sure.
We might see this person come in at the very last moment, because there's a moment where in the Mando's flashback when he's a kid, that super battle droid's about to kill him. We don't see who saves him. Now, of course, we're supposed to believe that the Mandalorian saved him, but the rumor I heard is that person saves him, which is going to tie in to the next Disney Plus show, which will be focused on that person.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
And it's already been confirmed that person is doing, that they have the actor and they are doing that show.
Yes, I know that's happening. But still, it's like, it's like you're a TV studio, Fast and the Furious 6 came out, you earned a bunch of fucking money doing your fucking horrible shit. Why wouldn't you do Fast and the Furious 7? Like, and then Fast and the Furious 8? Like, why wouldn't, like, if you didn't do it, you'd be a bad businessman, is what I'm saying. So like with Boba Fett, it's like, okay, we're Disney, we paid $1 quazillion for Star Wars. We need to get our return on investment. Like, why would you not?
Yeah. They were going to do a Boba Fett movie with Josh Trank, and then he did Fan Four Stick, and that kind of fucking bombed, and they were like, on second thought, maybe not.
Yeah, no, but they're definitely going to bring Boba Fett I'm not saying, it'll probably be in the
Maybe
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian season 2. Maybe there's a rogue Mandalorian out
Yeah,
there and he has to
like
take him down.
it'll be a tease. It'll be a tease. But you don't design an episode like this where you go, oh, let's go to Tatooine and let's go out to the sand dunes with a guy in Mandalorian armor. Like, come on. Like,
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
So what would you give this episode? Like I said, for me, like a 5 is a below average, 6 is average, 7 is above average.
Look, I would give it a 6. I would say it was entertaining enough. I thought Amy Sedaris' character was fine. I thought the newbie kid, he seemed a little off in the universe for some reason, but
he did.
I
think it was because his acting was kind of Everybody's been saying his acting was booty. I thought it was whatever.
Well, it was fine. I mean, it's Star Wars universe. Everybody's acting is horrible. And then Ming-Na, I like the little twist where you think Ming-Na is gonna manipulate the kid and then she gets killed. I thought that was a clever twist. So props on that because they got me. Like the minute she was like, and started doing, I was like, oh God, you're gonna let Mulan like.
Wait, Mulan? That's who that actress is. She's the actress who's gonna play Mulan in the.
No, she's the actress that did play Mulan
in the cartoon.
She's the voice of Mulan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ming-Na. I mean, she was most famous for she's probably most famous for now like Mulan and ER, but she was in the Joy Luck Club. She's a very, and she's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's a big Chinese American actress for many, many years. Yeah, so.
Well, it's good. We're getting more Asian people in there. I've always wanted Donnie Yen to be a part of the Star Wars universe because I love him as Ip Man, Bruce Lee's master. Have you ever seen Ip Man, the movies that Donnie Yen has done?
No.
Bro, Ip Man, great kung fu films. Holy shit. I've always wanted to see Chow Yun-Fat in this, but they always kind of squander these characters, like these actors. They really do. Like you got the guys from The Raid in Force Awakens, squandered. Donnie Yen was like a blind kung fu guy who only did kung fu like once and then squandered. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, but Ming-Na Wen, I mean, I
love saying her name. You love saying her name.
Oh, it just flows. Ming-Na Wen. She's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I guess she's probably already has other commitments, so she couldn't be on Star Wars on a regular basis. Like when she showed up, I was like, she's gonna die. She has her commitments. But.
Like I said, I don't mind these characters of the day that we're having. I really don't, but I kind of wanted an arc, and what we're kind of getting is what we already get on the like networks like the CW and Fox and stuff like that, where we have somewhat of an arc, and then we have fillers in between. This is really fillery, and I'm kind of disappointed. Shortest episode we got, and it was filler. And did he have to land on fucking Tatooine? There has to be a reason why he landed on.
That's
Tatooine.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be. They had to. They must know. They must know. I mean, going out to that area and then just not addressing it at all. I don't know.
Okay, so I would give it a 6, which is average for me. You said 5 was average for you. What is a 6?
Yeah. I'd say it was slightly above average, and I'm saying that the twist. I thought the actor was fine. That the young bounty hunter guy. I thought the actor was fun. I enjoyed the twist at the end, and I thought Amy Sedaris was fine. And so the only thing is the episode annoyed me that there was so many Tatooine references uselessly, just to taunt me. I was like, come on.
Oh shit. Oh man. You've never played. I don't think you've ever played Portal.
I've played like one level of Portal. I'm familiar.
The box from Portal was in the corner, by the way, when he's walking towards the cantina. Yeah, so they have like nice little Easter eggs like that. Which okay, fine, but this show, dude, like it's weird because I was so hyped for Mandalorian and I was not hyped for Watchmen, and now I'm super hyped for Watchmen, not as hyped for Mandalorian.
I mean, Watchmen, there's just so much to happen, and there's so much to talk about, like in every episode. I mean, here we're just like, well, what's there to talk about? Well, they mentioned Tusken Raiders and the fact that like they might own the land, like, and they threw in a little bit of political commentary with mentioning the fact that he's going to cross over their lands as if they're American Indians. Some little bit of there.
We're showing how to actually defeat someone on the high ground.
Well, yeah. I mean, distract him and come in from the side.
Of course, that's how you do it. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, this episode, whatever. Hopefully the next episode will be better. I keep saying this, every time.
This is like the story. I was at a dinner party last night, and obviously the conversation always goes to what people are watching, and it's like I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching The Mandalorian, and people are like, oh, is that good? And you're just like, you just gotta shrug. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
No one brings up Game of Thrones anymore at the water cooler?
No, but it's the same ones. Like, I think everybody is talking about Fleabag, everybody's talking about Russian Doll, everybody's talking about Watchmen. Everybody's talking about The Boys. I mean, certain shows, everybody's talking about Dairy Girls. Like certain shows like are really kind of stick out as exceptional, and then other ones are just kind of forgettable. I mean, Mandalorian's getting mentioned, like, oh, have you seen it? But it's not like, no, I can't sit there and say, oh my God, you have to see it. Like, like season 1 of Fleabag or something, where I'm like, everyone should watch season 1 of Fleabag, But
oh well, we'll see what happens next episode. I keep saying this all the time. We'll see what happens. Every time I go into Mandalorian, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the episode. This is gonna do it. This is gonna be the thing. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, we will see you next time with more Mandalorian. Have a good one.